if it's Monday night and if it's another newsworthy and historic edition of Monday Night Raw, oh, yes, it is Ridiculously Raw. Hello, friends. The Ridiculously Over Gentleman, Anthony Floyer, here with you for another exciting edition of Ridiculously Raw. Well, I think we're all trying to catch our breath after the exciting turn of events that we just witnessed moments ago at the end of Monday Night Raw, to say the very least. Oh boy, a main event for the ages, and I know a couple people on this panel who are very excited about what happened. I just got off the phone with one of them, and the other one, who I know who has been very critical of the women over the last several months. Well, I don't think we're going to get any criticism whatsoever here tonight. So, well, another week here on Monday Night Raw, and after a very slow start, oh boy, did it pick up. And we got ourselves yet another historic and newsworthy edition of Monday Night Raw tonight. T-Mobile Arena, Las Vegas, Nevada. Oh boy, you're going to be taking home some memories tonight. That's all I'm going to say on that. So, yep, Monday Night Raw live from the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada, on the USA Network. And, well, we started the show off with our usual in-ring segment. This time we had Commissioner Stephanie McMahon starting the show. She gave Mick Foley the night off, and then she was quickly interrupted by Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns saying he didn't want to wait till Fastlane. He wanted his hands on Braun Strowman tonight, and Stephanie says no. And Reigns said, maybe I'm not making myself clear enough. And then Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they came out and they basically offered their services to Stephanie there, and Stephanie sets up a handicap match. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson against Roman Reigns. And she also announced that Braun Strowman would be in action later in the night against Mark Henry. Nothing much to talk about there. But, so yeah, and it also led into the handicap match. Roman Reigns won that via disqualification in 3 minutes and 5 seconds. So what we're going to do here, we're only going to talk about the segment. The match was really, nothing to get excited about. So, so we're just going to skip the bout. But as far as the segment goes, this to me was the second segment of the night here. Stephanie also showed a nod to Teddy Long, and we're going to talk more about Teddy Long in a little bit on this show, because Teddy Long, let's just say, is about to join a very prestigious class, if you know what I mean. Spoiler alert for later. Everybody knows that Teddy Long would have found a way to book what he always used to book on SmackDown when he was the general manager, a tag team match, playa. Well, no. Meanwhile, WWE does have a history of having their top guys plow through top tag teams. So I wouldn't blame people if they were worried, if they were fans of Anderson and Gallows, which I know MF is because of the Bullet Club and as well as Derek Ferrera. So the segment was the second best segment of the night. I mean, Stephanie and Roman, no love lost there, obviously, from about a year or so ago. The handicap match, like I said, nothing to speak of. I mean, way too short. It was a 3-minute match. It was a DQ. We're just not going to rate that. That's a no rating to a dud. If I'm going to be real honest, one of the worst things of the night. So that's all I can say on that. So, but actually, I do have one other thing, and that is, I had no idea what was the point of that handicap match, anyways. Perhaps it will make more sense if we found out that Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows are in cahoots with Triple H, Stephanie McMahon, and Samoa Joe. If not, it seemed pointless. Sure, it could have been worse in hindsight that Reigns could have actually beat the tag team champions clean, but this still made them look weak for seemingly no good reason. So that's it. So that's all I can say on that. So let's bring in the host of the Cerebral Smack Talk, good old MF, Michael Fletcher. MF, we're only going to talk about the segment because the match was pretty much a cutout, and I'm sure you'd agree with that.
Okay. I'm not going to... oh, I thought... All right. First off, thank you. Good evening. I'm going to say this. As far as the segment goes, yeah, it was a solid segment. I understand with everything that's going on, Roman Reigns wants to get his hands on Braun Strowman. Stuff went down, and they don't want to wait till Fastlane. Fine, that's all good, fine and dandy. Then you had Stephanie saying no, that's not going to happen. Strowman's got some other things to do. Then Roman started to play, like Anthony liked to call bully hockey. Tried to force Stephanie's hand on it, and no, it wasn't going to happen. And that's when Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows came out, and they wanted it to force the hand. Now, I didn't like the match. I think we can cut away on that. But the purpose of it, Anthony, was what you just said. Sending a message to Roman Reigns. You're not above the authority. You're not above Stephanie. You're not going to mess with her, because if you try to do it, consequences are going to happen. And this was a consequence. Now, Roman, you should know this. When you were with the authority, they did the bidding, and you were the executioners. What was the club more intent this time around? To take you out. Plain and simple. A little extra money, a little extra cash into the back pockets of the Raw Tag Team Champions, and that's all that it was about. That's all I would say about that. Now, going down the line, we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, the timing is a little bit of a weird timing, but let's be realistic. Samoa Joe laid out Seth Rollins. Now you got the others. You got Anderson and Gallows, and they're trying to take out Roman Reigns. 2/3 of the original Shield. And the whole backdrop has been on Triple H. Remember, Triple H had a bone to pick with Roman Reigns. And Triple H is probably still a little steaming over the fact that Roman kicked his you-know-what at last year's WrestleMania. Seth Rollins has a bone to pick with Triple H because he basically screwed him out of the Universal Championship and helped Kevin Owens with the belt. So there's a lot of immovable parts, but the characters or the main antagonist has always been Stephanie McMahon and her husband, the Game, Triple H. And this on-again, off-again war with the former Shield. Now that war has been going back, dating 3 years, when the Shield betrayed the authority. Now it's just coming back around. Cycle. We'll wait and see what happens after the fact. But right now, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yes, thank you very much indeed, Cerebral Viper, Michael Fletcher. Yes, hello, friends. This is the Phenom Mike Bullock here. So, yeah, I agree. This was the second best segment of the night. I mean, yeah, the match, I mean, Anthony pretty much mentioned it. No rating to a dud. I mean, this was basically Roman Reigns coming out saying, look, I'm not going to wait until Fastlane. I want Braun Strowman tonight. And Stephanie's like, no way. It's not going to happen. And plus, Braun Strowman's got Mark Henry tonight. And Roman Reigns was trying to play the mind games to try to get Stephanie to change her mind. And you really think you're gonna really change the mind of the $1 billion princess? No, because like you just mentioned, she is above Roman Reigns. She is the authority, and if you try to test her, you're gonna suffer the consequences. And unfortunately, he got it with. And Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, they volunteered their services to take out Roman Reigns. So we got ourselves a handicap match, and pretty much you just talked about it. So not gonna get into it. So there's really nothing more for me to say. So Twisted Angel, Dee Dee Woodson, come on in. What are your thoughts on the segment? You don't have your mic on.
Better?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Alright, I guess that button got pushed again. It was an okay segment, but yeah, it's about the second best segment of the night because there really was not a whole lot of good segments tonight. In fact, Stephanie's saying she's running the show tonight, and this was the only time we really saw her for the whole night. But it was interesting to see her engaging with Reigns, the club coming out. Basically, I guess they're now in the authorities' back pocket, so they certainly didn't do their job tonight with Reigns winning it via a DQ. So not much more I have to say about it. So let's just move on.
And what's a ridiculously Raw without cutouts? And there will be a few cutouts, even though this was a newsworthy and historic show tonight. This is the first of our cutouts here. We had a match, Kofi Kingston, along with his New Day brethren, Big E and Xavier Woods, went up against Bo Dallas. Kofi Kingston won the match in 2 minutes and 15 seconds with the SOS. Yeah, no rating to a dud. No further comment. We're just going to skip that. Even though this was a short cruiserweight match, I do feel this does need to be addressed here because it featured the number one contender for the Cruiserweight Championship. For those of you who didn't know, gentleman, Jack Gallagher was the winner of that fatal five-way match last week on 205 Live. And wait till you hear what I have to say about that match in my Tony's Take later on. Matter of fact, wait till you hear what I have to say about the show on the whole. Wait till you hear that. So, but for right now, gentleman Jack Gallagher went up against the Scottish Supernova, Noam Dar. He had Alicia Fox in his corner. Jack Gallagher wins the match, 3 minutes and 15 seconds, and then was eventually interrupted by Adrian Neville. Neville just showed off the belt because at the Raw exclusive pay-per-view Fastlane on March 5th, Adrian Neville will face the gentleman, Jack Gallagher, for the Cruiserweight Championship. So, MF, we started with you here. The gentleman picking up a nice tune-up win over Noam Dar. And maybe you'd like to share an early thought, perhaps, about Neville and Gallagher at Fastlane, if you would?
All right. I thought the fight was okay. I'll give it about maybe 1.5 stars. I'm not going to give it too much. I thought it was okay for what it was worth. I think Jack Gallagher is going to give Neville a little bit of a run for his money, but I'm sorry. I don't see it. I don't think as good as Gallagher has been, I don't think he's nowhere in the level of Adrian Neville. And as much as I know a lot of people may agree with me, some may not, I don't think that Neville will be threatened by Gallagher, and I think that Neville should successfully defend the title and will move on to WrestleMania as champion. However, I have heard something from the dirt sheets that had really perked my interest. And let me tell you, lady and gentlemen, if this actually does happen, I'm calling this right now. Not only could this be the sleeper fight of the night, but this will clearly, by miles, be the greatest cruiserweight match in the history of the cruiserweight division in WWE history. There's a rumor of a possible match at WrestleMania. Adrian Neville putting the cruiserweight title on the line against the greatest wrestler alive, my boy, A-Double Austin Aries. If that fight happens at WrestleMania in Orlando, in the immortal words of my boy Monster Mac from Team Mac Attack in RWA, holy freaking crap. It will be lit if this happens. Screw Randy Orton and Bray Wyatt. The heck with the Universal Championship. And that even the hell with Goldberg versus Lesnar. This will be a JBL, call the sheriff, because these two fellas could possibly steal the show at WrestleMania. That's how epic this could be. In the arm, you want the cruiserweight division to have that signature moment? You throw these two men in the ring, and if this actually does happen, forget it. It's over. If anybody was on the strike, or anybody who is that 205 Live should end or disband the cruiserweight division, everybody's gonna come back on that bandwagon, and they're gonna be jumping on this thing like salt on a peanut. They are gonna be jumping like this faster and quicker than anything I've ever seen in my life. They're not gonna be jumping off the ship. They're gonna want to get on the ship. At that point, it's gonna be game over. I got nothing more to say. Michael Bullock, it's yours.
Wow, I don't even know how to follow that, but I don't even think I can. But yeah, I'm gonna give it 1 star for the effort. I mean, it is what it is, and I do agree with Fletch. I mean, I think Gallagher will give Neville, a little bit of a run, but let's be honest. I mean, Neville with this new heel character as the Cruiserweight Champion is just, it's just awesome right now. And going on a limb, Neville's retaining that title, and I do agree. If that Austin Aries and Neville match happens at WrestleMania for the Cruiserweight title, this could be not just the sleeper fight of the night. I just may go as far as to say fight of the night. But we'll wait and see what happens when we still got about 48 days before WrestleMania. So I got nothing else to say. So D. Woodson, what says you?
Remember, D.D. Woodson doesn't.
Oh yeah, that's right. I completely forgot about that. So Florio, I'm just going to toss it to you.
Yes, absolutely. I'm actually going to give it 2 stars here. It was a short but perfectly solid match. More importantly, Gallagher won to continue his momentum. Solid 3-minute match from the cruiserweights. It's too bad that those two couldn't get more time, because they are 2 of the stronger personalities in the division and may have won over some Raw viewers. And if you didn't see 205 Live last week, you got to go out of your way to catch that 5-way elimination main event, as it was my favorite match from the show's brief history. and I'll get more into that later on. So that's really all there is to say on that. And yeah, and MF actually already knew about the dirt sheet because I mentioned that to Bullock on Friday night when we had our boys' night out. But we wanted to. We were wondering what would you have done if you had found out about it. Well, I guess you found out about it, and well, we just got your answers. So that's all
Well, I
can
knew
say.
about it ahead of time. I just wanted it to. I didn't know if it would, because I kind of stumbled upon it. But remember, I didn't have a chance to talk about it until tonight. So
Yeah.
this was at least 4 or 5 days bottled up. I can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I found out about it late, like overnight, Thursday overnight into Friday morning. That's when I found out about it, and then I shared it with Bullock during our boys' night out. So there you have it. So but yes, in the immortal words of JBL, somebody will have to call the Orlando PD because those two are gonna end up stealing the show at WrestleMania. So all right, now what we're gonna get into here is a segment that I know good old MF Michael Fletcher has been more excited than even Corey Graves for this.
Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
Yes, that's exactly what Corey Graves did. And Michael Bullock and I were wondering during our Raw chat what MF was doing. I had a feeling about
If
what
I
he
was that
doing.
so-called fly on the wall.
Yes, indeed. It was finally time for the debut of Emelina. Michael Bullock, we're gonna start it with you. We're gonna save MF for last, obviously, and I'm glad the rotation worked out this way. So, but Emelina, what did you think?
Well, we finally got the debut of Emelina, and I mean, yeah, she basically just made it just short and sweet and to the point. And I mean, man, I mean, she certainly wowed everybody with her appearance. So, wow. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. I mean, about it. I mean, what's going to happen next now? I mean, was this just a one-time thing and she goes back to being Emma? I don't know. Dee Dee Woodson, what think of this whole thing?
Do you really want my opinion on this?
I think I think judging by the way you're talking, I think it's a negative reaction.
Yeah. I didn't see the point of this. I didn't see the point of this at all. She comes out in an evening gown, says about 10 words, and then turns around and leaves, talking about the transformation of Emma. So more likely, it sounds like she's going back to the Emma character that this isn't going to stick around. So there really wasn't much point in this. I thought it was pretty stupid, if you want my opinion. So I know Fletch is probably going to go gaga here in a minute, but me, no. I was not impressed with this at all. It just to be very blunt, this is wrestling. This is not a beauty pageant, so we don't need a evening gown type contest thing or whatever you want to call it in the middle of a Raw show. So that pretty much sums it up. So just move on.
Yeah. I had a feeling you'd be critical of that, Dee Dee Woodson. I'm not surprised, but well, quick thought from me before we get over to MF, who I know is going to be who I got a feeling. I think I know where he's going with it, but let's just say I'm having a flashback to Animaniacs as we speak. I already know that's what he's going to do. I'd be surprised if he doesn't, but moment in a minute, but I gotta get my 2 cents in. As I always like to say, after something monumental happens on the show, Bullock knows because I say it to him a lot, but then again I say it to MF too.
So that happened.
Yeah, so that happened. Well, okay then. Let's see where it goes. I mean, as we always like to say, give it a chance. That's always like to say, give it a chance. Let's see where this goes and whether or not it will affect the Raw Women's Championship going forward. So that's all I can say on that. One other thing before we let MF have his moment, and that is on commentary as the entrance was getting ready to go down. Something really funny on commentary. Corey Graves with the oh my god, and then Byron says, try to contain it. He's like, shut up, Saxton. Don't ruin this for me. Oh, I couldn't help but laugh. I mean, Bullock knows because I did the same thing during the Raw chat. I mean, if we were doing Monday Night Raw commentary, of course, I would be Michael Cole. Michael Bullock would be Byron Saxton, and Michael Fletcher would be Corey Graves. And I know we would have done the exact same thing. MF would have been going nuts, and then Bullock would be like, calm down, and Fletcher would be like, shut up, Bullock, don't ruin this for me. And then when she comes out, I mean, I would just have MF go crazy. So that's all I can say on that. So an interesting segment to say the very least. So all right, MF. Nobody has wanted this more for the last 17 weeks besides one other person, but that would be you and Corey Graves. So
Yep.
Was the 17 weeks, brother? Was it worth the hype? And are we gonna get that Animaniacs vintage MF out of you on this?
I'm gonna say this. I loved the presentation. I loved the way she came out. I loved the commentary from Corey Graves. He nailed what I would have done to a T. The goddess from Sydney, Australia came back. And boy, was it quite a unique reveal. It was a unique return, a debut. But the one thing that really had me thinking was, and they said it, she now went from Emelina back to Emma. So it kind of felt like the vignettes and all that stuff was really to engage the fans. Try to say Emma's coming back. So, she started this little nuance, this little liaison. When was she coming? And for me, she's a good wrestler. She's a very talented young wrestler that really had a good storyline going, teaming up with, when she was teaming up with Dana Brooke, and them two together were really a dynamic duo in NXT. And I'm wondering if that is the way they want to go back with her. Because she went from Emily, because she said it. Now that she's arrived, you're going to see the transformation from Emelina back to Emma. Does that mean we're going to see the Emma that was the badass, didn't give a you-know-what type of attitude? What are we going to get? Now I'm on pins and needles to see what Emma we're going to get next. Because we just saw Emelina, and I not only liked what I saw, I loved what I saw. I thought it was perfection with the capital T on it. Now, where do we go from here? That's the million-dollar question. We don't know what we're going to expect. We don't know what we're going to see. And normally, you make them wait. You leave a little something, and you just give them a little taste and make them beg for more. I think that's what the WWE is trying to do with the Emma character. We got the Emmalina, but now, and she gave us that little bit that we wanted, and I think they did it perfectly with her. You don't need to pull the full arsenal on her tonight. Give just a little bit. And remember, she's been out for 18 weeks, 17 weeks, 18 weeks. She's been out for months because of an injury that really sidelined her and really killed her momentum, because she has something really good in NXT and was on her way to being called up to the main roster again with Dana Brooke, and they were going to be the henchwomen for Charlotte Flair, and you were going to have a trio of women working together and become one of the biggest stables in WWE. But when Emma went down, that's when everything went sideways. So what did they do? They gave those vignettes of, that bombshell beauty and everything else. The stuff that I know Didi Woodson basically is like, okay, that's, enough is enough. She, it gets to a certain point. Granted, and I agree with you to a certain extent. But again, tonight was the perfect night. What they did was good. But the thing is, she's not just a pretty little face, or, she isn't one of those. She can actually wrestle. She is a good wrestler. She can actually compete in the ring. Give her the opportunity. She will thrive. She is a Bayley. And I think that's the best way I can compare her. She is a Bayley, in my eyes. Short in stature, very fast, very quick. Her moveset is actually really good. Now, when she first came up, they had her as the ditzy little blonde, not that smart, not that bright, kind of little goofy sideshow type thing. And then they had her with Santino. But I think I saw a real transformation when she became the Emma in NXT, who really went into that attitude, that darkness, that, and you really saw the real Emma shine. I think that's what's going to happen now. She ain't going to be an old women's champion for a long time because she just got back. But you put the right character, bring her back to that NXT Emma, then look out, ladies and gentlemen. She might become a player in that division. And that's what I want to see. That's what I'm hoping for. Yes, I am a big fan of Emma. And I will openly admit that, without a doubt. Right now, she is skyrocketed as my number one girl on Monday Night Raw. She just bumped Dana Brooke off the list. Dana Brooke was at number one. She just got replaced tonight. But it's not because of the Emmalina. It's because, just like everybody else, I am a wrestling fan. I'm a wrestling purist. And what I saw was, like I said, she left me enough wanting more, wanting to see more. And that's the right thing to do. And even a lot of the fans were like, well, what was the point of all this? Here's the point. It solidifies that she's a heel. It solidifies that maybe this is the direction they want to go. Make her into that that badass monster heel that she was in NXT. Now, if they bring that back, WWE, you're in for a treat and a half. What I would like to see, I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but I would like to see her reunite with Dana Brooke. Bring them together. Become that that super team that they were. Because if they team up together, if they work together, it would almost be like Peyton Royce and Billie Kay in NXT. They would be dynamite. They would be amazing together. Now, there's not that many Supergirl teams in professional wrestling. Okay, you had your Bella Twins, you had your Lay Cool, but there hasn't been that team that's really been united. And don't get me wrong, Charlotte Flair and what Charlotte and I'm trying to not Alexa. Oh Jesus!
Charlotte, I think you're talking about the factions from the Diva Revolution. Is that what you're?
Well,
going?
no, I'm talking about the factions from back in the day. You know, you had Lay Cool, you had the Bella Twins.
What about the BFFs?
You had the BFFs, and I mean those were fine. But and remember in NXT you had a super group. Now you, like I said, now you got Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. But before them, it was Emma. And she was in a super team. And that's where I would like to see. If they reunite, that's going to be dynamite. And I know, Floyer, you were looking for something completely different. You wanted me to go off the rails like our boy. But I would love to, but I also got to keep it in context as well, in context. And like I said, the whole production was amazing. With everything that she did, the beautiful golden gown and the whole 9 yards was flawless. But now you got to raise the game. The level has to go higher because now I want to see what the real Emma is going to bring. And like I said, some people might be a little disappointed because, you know, we were waiting all that time for Emmalina. But now, if we get the transition back to Emma, what's that transition going to look like? God, I hope WWE does not throw her to be that ditzy blonde again. Because if they do that to her, I would flip out so bad. I want to see Emma like the NXT Emma. If they go down that path, I am happy. I will be satisfied. You're not going to get a complaint from this panel member. I will be very happy to see that. Because I think she's better as a heel. Because I'll openly admit this. Certain people are meant for certain roles in wrestling. I think right now, Emma is better as a heel, not as a face. I don't know why. When they did the face role, something didn't click with me. When she went into that darker, that, you know, had like the leather, the sunglasses, the darker hair, and that leather, like, I'm going to kick your, you know what? That was the Emma I fell in love with. So, and I fell pretty hard too. Then, yes, I was a little disappointed after the injury, but then the Emmalina thing, and I don't know what it was. I got intrigued. intrigued. Then the vignettes were coming, and and then it was just teasing my rear end. She's coming this week. No, she's not. She's coming next week. No, she's not. I'm losing my mind saying, when is she coming back, WWE? Why are you doing this to me? I, you know, like going into the night, I didn't think it was gonna happen, but I was the same way, like Corey Graves. And Anthony, you said it. You said it best. If we had done that three-way chat on the phone, I would have done the oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. Volek would probably be like, okay, Mikey, calm down. And I probably would have said, both you idiots, shut up. I'm about to see greatness. Don't ruin this moment for me. If Emma would have came out, I would have been like, praise the Lord. Oh my God, she is stunning. She is glorious. And the whole 9 yards. And I would just let the moment speak for itself. Yeah. Nothing more to say. Florio, there you go. That's what I would have done. It's all yours, my friend.
Just about what I would have had you do in MF. I mean, I would have had you do your infamous Gurs as well, and maybe throw in a Hello Nurse. But boy, howdy!
Oh, I probably would have done a Hello Emelina.
Yes, Lord.
Something like that. Somewhere Didi Woodson's probably dying in laughter right now. She's probably going, oh my God, Mike, did you just do that on air?
Yep, he did. He went.
Oh yeah, she's laughing.
Yep.
She's probably like, really, Mike? Really?
Yeah.
That was the bait. That was the goading bait. So
that was the bait. Yep.
So that being said,
or that's like the something we hadn't seen in a while, which is what I'm used to doing, the Michael Bullock I can't take it face.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's got it now. She got it now. The kitty's doing the kitty's on is basically covering it, but yeah, we can see it.
Yes, indeed. So well.
All right, enough embarrassing Didi for one night. Let's get back to work.
Yeah. And as we've seen it so many times, we go from the beauty to the beast. Because it was the world's strongest man, Mark Henry, going up against, come on, Bullock, do it with me, a staple of our Raw chat. There you go. That's going to be our new thing from now on. Whenever we mention Braun Strowman, Michael Bullock and I will break out his signature roar during his entrance. There you go. Yep. Braun Strowman, Mark Henry, one-on-one. I smell cutout here. Because the fight ended in about 4 minutes and 450 to 455, even though Roman Reigns did come out and they had an angle there. Well, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. If you want to get into it, we can. If not, I'll just give you the liner note.
Move on.
That's what I thought. All right. I'll do the liner note here. 1 star, lasted too long. Henry got too much in. Braun is in a major pay-per-view match and has been running through everyone and doesn't need to be selling for a guy who's never around. This needed to be a quick beatdown. Some power stuff from Braun and then a finish. As far as the post-match with Roman Reigns goes, yes, I enjoyed that way much more than the fight itself. So, yeah, 1 star for the effort. So, all right, Samoa Joe, he did a this is one of the rare times where we're actually going to get into a backstage segment here because, well, this was it was the Michael Cole sit-down interview. And Michael Cole did his sit-down interview with Samoa Joe. Whoa. Okay. My goodness. I mean, what else is there for me to say on this except Didi Woodson, you saw the sit-down interview Michael Cole did with Samoa Joe. This was amazing, in my opinion. I want to get a quick thought from you on this.
Oh, yeah. It was a really great interview. I enjoyed it very much so. I do agree with Joe on one thing where they just kept bringing up Triple H quite a bit instead of actually talking about Joe, but Joe's always been one of my favorites anyway. I mean, Samoa submission machine, the chance Joe's going to kill you, all that kind of stuff. I mean, that's just right up my alley there. I like Joe a lot. So I thought this interview was a real good chance for the fans to kind of get to know him a little bit more and cement that heel character that he's trying to be right now. So not much more I had to say about it. So back to you.
My lord, the Jamal, my God, Samoa Joe completely killed it on that. He delivered an excellent promo, setting himself up as a player and as someone not to be messed with. That was a big time main event level promo, and another example of the company needing to utilize these sit down interviews with Michael Cole more often. This was by leaps and bounds the best thing on the show to that point. I loved it. It was amazing. And what else is there for me to say except that was fantastic? Joe came off as cold, confident, and intelligent. The last one is important because fans who are unfamiliar with him had to be wondering if he was just dumb muscle, and this interview had to clear up any misconceptions. He came off as more than just a heavy, even though his character is currently loyal to Hunter. I also love that Joe never got worked up and yelled. It was much more effective to have Joe show a calm intensity. I actually felt a sense of danger for the Michael Cole character, and I liked the way that Cole stood his ground and asked good questions. So, yes, one of the bright spots of this for sure. Amazing segment. So with that being said, MF, you just like D.D. Woodson, one of the big Samoa Joe marks out there, mainly for what he did in TNA. So
Yep.
This sit-down interview with Michael Cole, unbelievable.
It encompassed Joe the way that we knew him in TNA, in NXT. This is the Samoa Joe that we've always known. Even me in Ring of Honor. This is Joe, authentic, not fake, in your face, doesn't give a, and will take you out if you piss him off. This was a great promo, well utilized, well done, and there was nothing bad to say about this. For me, segment of the night, hands down, no arguments. So, Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, this was definitely a very good segment here. I mean, Samoa Joe, I mean, not holding back. I mean, a very good interview here, and basically just sending a message saying that he doesn't give a damn what you think of him, and if you piss him off, he will beat the snot out of you. So, whew, man, I don't know what else is there to say after this. So, yeah, so I'm just gonna toss it back to you, Florio, as we move on.
And we have more relevant stuff here to get into. We move on to our next match, which was Sami Zayn one-on-one with Rusev. Winner of the match in, let me get the time of the fall here, between 11 minutes and 11 minutes and 10 seconds, Sami Zayn wins the fight with the haluva kick, and then Samoa Joe comes out and attacks Sami Zayn. Because remember, it was during that interview where Samoa Joe referred to Sami Zayn as just someone who was happy to be there. And then Zayn cut a promo on Rusev after the fight, and then Joe comes down and basically beats the snot out of him. So, thoughts on all of this? Okay. As far as the fight goes, this was the second best fight of the night, clearly. Solid 3 stars. Good match. They work well together, and each play their roles very well. Sami is a great underdog, and Rusev, when he is in beat mode, is awesome. After a rather poor first hour, the Joe interview, this match, and the post-match beatdown gave this show some much needed life. And this is really where the show started to turn around big time. I hope this means they are going with the match that I think is going to go down at Fastlane. Zayn is the perfect opponent for Samoa Joe's first major pay-per-view bout because he's going to take one hell of a beating. There's a sense of realism and danger with Joe tonight that is off the charts good and amazing. So the fight itself, 3 stars. I could maybe go 3.25 at the most. And it looks to me like they're setting it up for Fastlane, Samoa Joe, one-on-one with Sami Zayn. MF, is that something you'd be interested in?
That would be something very interesting to see because of the fact that I hate to do this to you guys. I have seen this before. Samoa Joe and El Generico one-on-one, and they threw down years ago in Ring of Honor. Now, the thing is, this was way, way, way back. I mean, we're talking maybe 2000. This was before Joe went to TNA. Joe had a brief stint in Ring of Honor, and there was also some wrestling independently. And these two guys went at it. And I'll tell you, they were 4.5 star fights back in the day. So, I mean, we'll wait and see what happens there. But if Sami Zayn and Samoa Joe actually do throw down, I mean, my God, man. I mean, everybody was wondering about Sami Zayn, and they're like, man, he's not getting any opportunity. They're not showing him any love. He should probably go to SmackDown. Now, all of a sudden, they gave him Braun Strowman. All right, fine. I mean, big guy versus little guy. It was good for what it was worth. But now they're giving him Samoa Joe. And these two guys know each other pretty well. If you thought the wars between Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn was amazing, yeah, come on in. Have a seat. Buckle your safety belts. And I'll throw you a helmet or two because, get ready, folks. You're in for one wild, and I mean wild, capital letters, wild ride. Because that's what you're going to get. This is going to be fun. Michael Bullock, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, I mean, this was a really good match here. 3 stars. I could say second best fight of the night here. I mean, yeah, I mean, people were wondering. I mean, with Sami Zayn, I mean, are they going to give him some good matches, some good feuds to have? I mean, yeah, that feud that he had with Braun Strowman was okay, but nothing really to be left home about. But boy, oh boy, I mean, after the match, I mean, Samoa Joe, I mean, blindsided him, attacked him, and locked in that submission maneuver of his, and basically sending a message saying, "You want to mess with me? You're gonna pay for it." So, yeah, there's all I can say is these two are definitely going to throw down, and I think it's going to happen at Fastlane, Samoa Joe and Sami Zayn. So there's really nothing more to say. So, Dee Woodson, your thought on all this?
Hey, Sami Zayn, Joe's gonna kill ya. I hope you're ready for it. The exchange between the interview with Joe with Michael Cole and then the interview that Zayn had after the match. I mean, you can tell they're building this right now for this match to come up between the two of them. And yeah, it's going to be definitely a 4 to possibly teetering to 5 stars if these two lock it up and have the matches that, like what Fletch was talking about with that Joe can do. I mean, these matches. I don't think I've seen too many matches with Joe that wasn't worth anything. I mean, most of Joe's matches, I mean, he puts 100% into that, and so does Zane. So that, I mean, you've got two guys that are going to lock it up and go through hell just to get to where they want to be. As for the match, yes, a solid 3 stars. Was a little surprised that Zane won at the end, but you know, it pretty much proved right there with Zane and Rusev that you just can't keep the boy down without knocking him completely out. So um, I don't have much more to say about that. So let's just move on.
Yes, indeed. And all right, let's see what we have here. And then we had another cruiserweight match: Akira Tozawa against Arya Daivari. Akira Tozawa wins the match in 3 minutes and 15 seconds. We could skip this if you guys want. I mean, I wanted to address the other cruiserweight match earlier because, it had the number one contender for the title, which was Gallagher. This was just, another brief yet entertaining cruiserweight match. And it might be the first time that both cruiserweight matches on Raw actually left me wanting more. And Tozawa is going to win over WWE fans quickly if they spotlight him properly. So that's all I can say on that. That was a 2-star fight. So before we get into the big segment here, we had our latest Hall of Fame induction announcement. And we have our newest inductee into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017. And it's none other than who many are calling, including Michael Fletcher, the greatest general manager in the history of SmackDown. Holla, 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 playa. Theodore R. Long.
Holla, 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 playa.
Yes, Teddy Long is going into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017, joining the likes of Kurt Angle and the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, wow. Inducted into the Combat Sport Pro Hall of Fame class of 2015. Inducted into the National Wrestling Alliance NWA Hall of Fame class of 2012. Won the Pro Wrestling Illustrated Manager of the Year award in 1990. Unfortunately, one bad honor, one dishonorable mention here. Wrestling Observer Newsletter, unfortunately, had the honor of winning the worst worked match of the year at the 2005 Survivor Series against Eric Bischoff. And, of course, now WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017, best known for being the manager of Doom. I mean, here's a list of wrestlers he managed. He managed D'Lo Brown. He managed Johnny B. Bad, Rodney Mack. Oh, boy, those 5-minute white boy challenges. Oh, boy, I missed those, said no one. Norman the Lunatic. Mark Callis, a.k.a. The Undertaker. The One Man Gang. Mark Henry. Jazz. The late, great Eddie Guerrero. Joey Maggs. Craig Pittman. Sergeant Craig Pitbull Pittman. Chris Jericho. Jim Powers. Bobby Walker. Ice Train. Rosie. Mark Jindrak. Ezekiel Jackson. And the great Khali. And he also managed Doom, of course, Ron Simmons and Butch Reed. The Skyscrapers. Sid Vicious, Dan Spivey, and Mark Callis. Marcus Bagwell and Too Cold Scorpio. Thuggin' and Buggin' Enterprises. D'Lo, Rodney Mack, Rosie, Jazz, Mark Jindrak, Christopher Nowinski, and Mark Henry. And, of course, Team Teddy from WrestleMania 28, Santino Marella, Kofi Kingston, R-Truth, Zack Ryder, the great Khali, Booker T, and Mascot Hornswoggle. And then another team Teddy, Sheamus, Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, the Usos, and Los Matadores. So he managed a who's who, and of course, in 2004, became the general manager of SmackDown, where he would remain the general manager for several years. And of course, he also briefly general managed ECW before handing off to the beautiful Taryn Terrell, aka Tiffany. So, so there you go. So that's pretty. I think I pretty much ran down all the schematics here. So, MF, we'll start it off with you here because you are the biggest Tilo fan there is. You know it's about the Mac Militant. Hit it.
Yeah, you gonna bring it on. Hey, get out my way, coming through. Yeah, yo, I gotta say, man, this, I know a lot of people are gonna say, does he really deserve the opportunity? Does he deserve the moment to be in the WWE Hall of Fame? I'm gonna say it. Hell yes, he deserves it, and it's an honor to see him in the Hall of Fame. There's nothing you can say. Theodore Rufus Long, congratulations, my brother. I actually got to meet you 2 times, actually. For WWE. One time when they had the Armageddon press conference, I got to meet him in person, and I actually got to shake his hand and got a photo with him the night that we were at the Backlash in Providence. I was very excited to meet him. He was an excellent guy, straight up gentleman, a cool dude. Actually told me that I should get a beer one night because I was a little starstruck. He's like, "Yo, man, you should go in there and get a beer for yourself." I kind of laughed it off. My dad too. So but he's an awesome guy, straight up, nothing bad to say. From what I hear, everybody from around the world, there's so much love and so much support for him. He's such a good guy. But some of the stories I can't even tell you. Some of the wrestlers on what they call the U shoot, it basically it would shatter any PG level. It would shatter my TV 14 rating. It goes beyond that, man. I mean, we're talking basically we would have to have Dee Woodson literally leave the room because it's that bad. Some of the stuff that I heard is that bad. Women and children would have to be put to bed at that point. I don't even think we could even allow Florio in the room because of his man of good fate type attitude. I don't think you would even be allowed here. It would probably have to be Bullock, Ferreira, and myself for some of the stories that I heard that Tilo did way back when in the day. But nah. I am, I said it, and I talked to my buddy when I heard about it earlier today, if he was going in or not. And he was like, "Mike, what did you feel about him? Do you think he's deserving?" And I said, yes. And it's because of his tenure as the SmackDown general manager. For me, other than maybe Vicky Guerrero and Stephanie McMahon, he goes down as the greatest general manager in professional wrestling history. I mean, what he did for SmackDown was amazing. He did a great job. He held a job. And the thing is, a fan's fan. He loved the fans. He loved to do it for the fans. And there was this funny meme that, oh Lord, every time some kind of thing breaks out, Tilo comes out and he always makes a tag team fight. Or if somebody decided to do something stupid, he had one other plan. It was that individual had to fight The Undertaker. Whatever the case may be, Teddy Long was without a doubt one of the most coolest people to ever show up So when the fans marked out the night on Monday Night Raw when Teddy Long made his return to Raw, when there was this huge debate about who should be the general managers for Monday Night Raw and Friday Night SmackDown, or Tuesday Night SmackDown, SmackDown Live, I should say. Teddy Long wanted to get in on the mix. He wanted to be the guy that was going to be, be in the conversation. But I knew it was going to be tough for him to do it because you never know. But I will say this. Who on earth is going to induct him? Anthony, you ran down the list. So he's worked with so many people and so many great things. To me, there's only one guy that I think would be worthy enough to do it. And that's Ron Simmons. I think he would be the perfect guy to enshrine T'Lo into the Hall of Fame. Just my personal thoughts alone. I got nothing bad to say. This was my favorite general manager of SmackDown. This is why I bleed Team Blue. Because of people like him. For making the show fun, witty, and awesome. And he brought it. Every Friday night, I was always entertained by this guy. To get to meet him twice personally is an honor, and I will always treasure forever. Ted Long, congratulations. Welcome to the WWE Hall of Fame. Hats off, my friend. I salute you. Michael Bullock, it's all yours, my friend.
Yeah, a much deserved honor for Theodore Long to go into the WWE Hall of Fame class of 2017. Now he joins Kurt Angle and the Rock and Roll Express as part of that class. And I actually had a chance to see Long a live WWE event, and it was in Providence back in December 2005 at the Armageddon pay-per-view, and he did that segment with Palmer Cannon, and I mean, he's a really cool guy, and I mean, I loved when he would do the dance every time. I mean, you saw Fletcher doing it, and I was even doing it a little bit, and I mean, everybody loved it when he would go into that dance mode, and you ran down the list of so many guys that he managed, and let's not forget he was also a referee in WWE during the Attitude Era. So, and yeah, of course he'll always be remembered for being one of the greatest general manager in SmackDown history. So yeah, so there's really more to say. So congratulations to Theodore Long. Welcome to the WWE Hall of Fame. And I agree with Michael Fletcher. I think Ronson should be the one to induct him. So nothing else to say. D.D. Woodson, I give it to you.
Yeah, I agree totally there. There's not, like I said, there's not much more to say. I mean, he had a career that most people could only, wish for, going from being the referee all the way up through managing to being a general manager. I mean, there's just there's just nothing more you can say about Teddy Long other than he's just that kind of person that everybody just loves the man. just seeing him and having him just come out with his little dance moves and hearing that, the minute you hear that first beat of that song, you know exactly who it is coming out, and everybody just gets right into it and gets into the dance and everything. I mean, he's just one of those likable guys that I don't think anyone could really say a bad word about Teddy Long when it comes to leading up to his Hall of Fame induction this year. So not much more I had to say about it. So let's move on.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, there's nothing left for me to say about it. I mean, you see, that's the funny video I have there. Tag team match or one-on-one with the Undertaker. Oh man, I can't help but get a good laugh out of that. But nonetheless, congratulations, Theodore R. Long. Indeed, there was actually one moment that I forgot to mention, and one of my favorite Theodore Long moments came with him as a referee. He actually counted the 1, 2, 3 for Ricky the Dragon Steamboat when he defeated the Nature Boy Ric Flair at the Chi-Town Rumble back in 1989, when Ricky the Dragon Steamboat won the World Heavyweight Championship from the Nature Boy Ric Flair in one of their many 5-star classic matches. I mean, I remember sitting down watching that. The original referee in that match, who I believe was the great Tommy Young, I believe he got hurt during the fight, near the closing minutes of the fight, and then Tilo came in and counted the 1, 2, 3 while Steamboat had Flair wrapped up in a small package. But that's my all-time favorite Tilo moment as a referee. Yeah, and he refereed in WWE as well during the Attitude Era, like Bullock mentioned, and of course he'll forever be known for being the manager of Doom, Ron Simmons, and the Natural Butch Reed, and multi-time tag team champions down there, and of course general manager of SmackDown. I mean, MF and I used to have so much fun with that theme song, and you saw that. I mean, you saw how I set that up perfectly. I set it up. It's the Mac Militant, and then MF hit us with the rest. So that's exactly what MF and I used to do back in the day. Every time we heard that theme song, and I mean, I was having flashbacks. I swear. So and I understand that's why Michael Fletcher is the man of SmackDown that he is. So you got your moment tonight, and I agree with everything about it. I mean, he's amazing, but if God forbid one day they ever induct Eric Bischoff into the Hall of Fame, I'm going to wax poetic about how he was the man who made Monday Night Raw what it is, and one of the reasons why I bleed the Raw Reds. So, but we'll have plenty of time on that in the future. But all right, so congratulations indeed to Tilo. So, all right, then we had that cruiserweight match, like I said, with Tozawa and Daivari. Tozawa won that in 3 minutes and 17 seconds, 2-star fight. I forgot to mention. Against all odds, Tozawa getting over in these 3-minute matches. So now we had one of the two big segments of the night here, the Festival of Friendship with the Universal Champion Kevin Owens and the United States Heavyweight Champion Chris Jericho. They did all this stuff, and they bring out, they had the showgirls, and of course they also had this magician called Friendship the Magician, and Jericho put him on the list. Hysterical. We even saw the first appearance, who in a long time, of Gilbert. Oh my goodness, that was hilarious. But then the fun and games quickly ended. Kevin Owens said, "Hey, Jericho, I got a present for you." And Jericho opens it up, and it was the list of KO. He's like, why is my name on it? And then we saw a list of KO, and then all of a sudden, Kevin Owens turns on Chris Jericho, beating the absolute snot out of him, including ramming his head through a glass sign and busting open Chris Jericho's head, and the referees covered it with a towel. Very reminiscent of what Shawn Michaels did to Marty Jannetty in the barbershop back in January of '92. And then when Jericho did the same thing to Shawn Michaels on a highlight reel in 2008. So, whoa, Michael Bullock. I mean, boy, oh boy, when we saw this, we couldn't believe what we saw. But then again, didn't I tell you I saw this coming? Didn't I say this was my bold prediction of the night? Didn't I say that? Michael Bullock, as I started with you, or did you Oh yeah, I think we've lost Bullock here. So Didi Woodson, let's start it with you here. Wow, this Festival of Friendship, and I'm gonna let you and MF know about this. I actually saw this coming from a mile away. I'm not a Johnny come lately on the spot. I saw the Owens turn coming. I saw it coming. Bold prediction. So Didi Woodson, your thought on it?
Everybody should have seen this coming. I mean, Jericho, in my opinion, has pretty much kind of made Kevin Owens a joke ever since the whole best friend thing has started. And I mean, the more it progressed, the more we started seeing KO getting upset with Jericho about little things he'd say or little suggestions he'd make. And then you'd have them all of a sudden get together at the end because Kevin Owens would see the light. Jericho never admitted he was wrong on anything within the whole friendship bit here. So yeah, I'm saying, I mean, if you didn't see Kevin Owens turning by now, then you haven't been paying attention to Raw, because that's all the signs were there leading up almost from day one. It was a little campy comedy, but at the same time, it, like you said, it was kind of fun. It was kind of, you know, it was. I know the statue kind of creeped me out with the two heads that look like they're kissing each other, and then I'm not even going to touch the portrait thing. I left the room when the magician came out, so yeah, but it was a good segment, to say the least, and definitely a good way to at the end there to end the friendship. And when was the last time we saw somebody take off in an ambulance? It's been a while, so yeah, I don't have too much more to say about it. So, Florio, what's yours?
Unquestionably, this was the segment of the night here. I mean, can't be comedy nonsense aside. That was a hell of a segment, hitting us with the funny ha-ha early and then giving us the turn we knew was eventually coming with the return of a vicious Kevin Owens. Jericho poured his heart out to his friend and then got the big beatdown in a segment that really delivered one of the best WWE breakups in forever. Triple H is rallying the troops. And again, that's the Kevin Owens I want right there. Whoa, lordy. That was amazing. And what else is there for me to say except how great was that? They have teased us with breakups so many times that while Owens' uneasiness with the festival certainly suggested a turn, I honestly didn't know if they were going to pull the trigger or end the segment in another hug. The key here, obviously, the one thing the broadcast team has not acknowledged yet, which is Triple H speaking to Owens backstage earlier in the show. Jericho did a great job of going from over-the-top Vegas showman before the break into sounding sincere as he explained why he held the festival when Owens questioned him afterwards. So, oh, Lord, was that amazing. So that's really all I can say about it. That was the segment of the night. So MF, your thoughts on this whole thing, the Festival of Friendship and the turn by Owens.
Well, as far as the Festival of Friendship goes, like you said, it was a bunch of ha-ha stuff. All right. I don't even know what to even think or even say about that portrait. And as far as the magician goes, even the portraits had me dying in laughter. I know Didi Woodson ran out the room, which is understandable, no doubts. The Gilbert thing was awesome, man. I cannot believe he showed up, man. That was so awesome. He showed up, but I think at that point, that was it. The party was over. It's like my boy Dizzy Don Meredith from legendary Monday Night Football. Turn out the light, the party's over. All good things must come to an end. So say goodnight, the party's over. And I hope I'll get to see you once again. Other than that, that's basically what it was in a nutshell. It had a beginning, an end, a middle, and an end, and that was it. The beatdown was epic. The whole thing was amazing. Bring it on, guys. Owens and Jericho, maybe for the Universal title at Fastlane. Who knows? I know a lot of people would like to see them go at it at WrestleMania, but we'll wait and see. So, nothing more to say. Anthony Florio, it's yours.
How quick are we to forget that Kevin Owens is defending the Universal Championship against Goldberg?
Yeah, true. Well, now that becomes very interesting now. Does Owens lose the belt because of Jericho? Because now that kind of opens the door.
Yeah, the Pandora
It
box.
does.
Yes, as you like to say, it opened up the proverbial Pandora's box, as you would say.
Yeah, somebody tell Jericho keep that box locked, but I don't think he's gonna, because if that Pandora box opens, I'm hiding under the table because I know that Pandora's box leads to some very, very bad voodoo.
Yes, it does. And Owens and Goldberg, of course, meet for the Universal Championship at Fastlane, which I hate to say. I think Goldberg is going to win it, and it's going to make MF's nightmare become a reality of Goldberg and Lesnar for the Universal title at WrestleMania. So, but we'll see what happens. But no doubt about it, Owens and Jericho are now on their way to a WrestleMania feud now. Will it be for the United States Heavyweight Championship, Universal Championship? I don't know. We'll see. But it just depends on how they decide to go about it, I guess. So, all right. So with that being said, let's get back into the action here. We had Cesaro going one-on-one with Enzo Amore. Cesaro wins the match in 2 minutes and 40 seconds. Obviously, this will be a cutout here. No rating to a dud. Enzo, not all that good in the ring, that even Cesaro had issues putting something passable together with him. Enzo really needs to be transitioned into a manager's role so he can focus on what he's best at. Great talker, absolutely. But I just don't think he's that good of a wrestler, if I'm going to be real honest with you. So Cesaro played it like he was just toying with Enzo Amore and was far superior. He didn't really do it in a heelish manner, though, so I'm not sure what they wanted viewers to feel. So this is obviously a cutout here. No rating to a dud. So now it's time for the main event of the evening. For the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair versus Bayley. Yes, there was outside interference from Dana Brooke and Sasha Banks. But when all was said and done, the winner of the match in 17 and a half minutes and new Raw Women's Champion. We didn't have to wait until WrestleMania. We got the payoff tonight. Bayley is the new Raw Women's Champion. Oh, my Lord in heaven. I don't even remember as far as who starts it off. I believe, since we lost Michael Bullock, I believe Didi Whitson starts it off. So, Didi Whitson, it's been well documented for the last several months. You've been very critical of the Raw Women's Division. Well, the Women's Division in general, but I would be shocked if you have anything critical to say about this classic tonight.
No, I have nothing.
I think the mic went out on her. She had it for a second. I think it just detached for a sec. Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Tony, take it over.
Yeah, I guess I'm going to have to unless Didi can get back up. But
She'll probably have to reset, like shut down, reset again. It happens to me a lot. So
of course. All right. Yeah, that's fair enough. Oh boy, fight of the night. What else is there to say? I'm not going to give it 5 stars or anything like that. I am, however, going to give it 4. 4-star match. While honestly, the hot potato effect happens again. I only have one small gripe here. While I am not a fan of all the title changes on Raw with the women, to me, one of the highlights of Raw over the last year have been the big time efforts put in by the ladies in these matches. For me,
No, I'm not
this
hearing
match.
anything.
Oh, Didi, are you back in?
Hello.
Yep, we can hear you. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Didi, I can hear you.
We'll do this then.
I can hear you too.
This is what fixed it last time.
Yeah, I can hear you too. I guess you can't hear us. Oh, okay. But yeah, if I maybe you could put it in the chat box if you want, or something. I don't know. But well, that's all I can say on that. Yeah, a little technical snitch here. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yep. I'll just take it here.
No, I can't hear you guys.
No, you can't. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think so. All right. Hold on here. Can you hear us now?
There we go.
Okay. All right. Oh, good. All right. That worked out great. All right, Didi Woodson, we're going to start this off with you. You are a women's wrestling expert after all. What a classic.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was definitely for me. Definitely the match of the night. The girls knocked it out of the park. Don't have a bad thing to say about it at all. I'm actually gonna, hit this with 4.5 to 5 stars because they just stole the show in my opinion. Who would have expected tonight to be the night that Bayley wins it, even with all the interference that came out in the end there? But she did. She pulled it off. She pulled off the dream that she had. Yeah, she took some bumps and bruises for it. That head hitting the turnbuckle. Some of those other really bad shots, but she pulled it off. She managed to, go toe to toe with Charlotte and to actually prove to Charlotte, that she deserved this chance and she deserved to actually end up holding the title in the end. And I don't know one person that's in Bayley's hugging corner that wouldn't be very proud of her tonight. I know I am. I'm extremely proud of Bayley tonight because she was the epitome of all the young girls that grew up wanting to dream to be a WWE superstar, and then in the end, she actually got to fulfill that dream by going through NXT and now the Raw roster, and now here she is. She's going home tonight or the hotel, whatever, with the title in her hand. And the celebration with her and Sasha was just amazing to watch. The two of them hug it out, and Sasha actually raising her hands and everything to show that the two of them were together as a team. But at the same time, you can still have that friendship and support your best bud as they go on their now title reign. I mean, Sasha had her chance at it several times, so now it's Bayley's turn, and I'm hoping that nothing costs Bayley from holding that title all the way up to WrestleMania, but we still have Fastlane coming up, and we still have a few more Raws to go before that, so we'll just have to wait and see what happens there. But definitely for me, it was the match of the night, and it actually stole the show. So, Florio, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree with you for the most part there, Dee Woodson. No question about it. Fight of the night, absolutely. I'm going to give it between 4 and 4.5 stars. I really cannot quite give it the 5 because, we did have that bit of outside interference from Dana Brooke and Sasha Banks. But while I am not a fan of all the title changes on Raw with the women, the hot potato effect, to me, one of the highlights of Raw over the last year have been the big time efforts put in by the ladies in these matches. For me, this match had everything that their Royal Rumble match lacked. This felt like a big time title match, was worked that way, and both ladies were on their game. The pacing was really good. The crowd was into it the entire time, and they developed some tremendous near falls and got the crowd more into it as the match went on, never losing them. The finish is the real story, as Bayley wanted nothing more than to prove herself, but she had that taken away by Sasha's quote-unquote help. The question will be, how does Bayley react to that? And will her perceived ungrateful response be what finally leads to the Sasha heel turn? I just hope that they don't switch the title right back at Fastlane. There's a lot of story to tell without doing the same thing they have repeatedly done over the last year. A really fun match, but I know there are some saying that they're not that crazy about the outcome because it's another new champion less than 2 months before WrestleMania, and it's another title change involving the hot potato known as the Raw Women's Championship. And there are even some that are even saying it feels too soon for Bayley's character to win the title. And one even went as far as to say that they hope that Stephanie McMahon next week overturns the decision. And I know there's going to be those that are in the minority on this from fans who want a short-term payoff, but it is worth noting that Stephanie McMahon already overturned one controversial Bayley win over Charlotte. So keep that in mind as a possibility. But there is no denying that Bayley's win tonight closed the show on a high note and is fun in the moment. But were we deprived of a great build and a long-term payoff? I don't know. But that was a great way to close it out, though. 4 to 4.5 stars, fight of the night, and the women's match of the year for 2017 to this point so far. Wouldn't you agree on that, MF?
Yeah, I agree. 4 stars, fight of the night, women's fight of the year. Something tells me, yeah, I think this could be an overturn. That this could be stricken from the record. Number one, well, first off, Dana Brooke jumped on the apron. Bayley knocked her off. There's nothing you can do about that. I mean, you can't call DQ on that. Where the DQ could come in is when Charlotte had the figure 8 on Bayley. The referee was checking on Bayley. Sasha Banks used the crutch and jammed it right in Charlotte Flair's throat, releasing the hold and giving Bayley the opening to do the belly to Bayley to win the title. That could be where the DQ could happen. This is where I could see where Bayley could be very distraught, maybe blame Sasha for costing her the title, and then in turn, that's where Sasha turns on Bayley, saying that, you know what, you didn't deserve the opportunity. That's my opportunity. You're just lynching off it because I'm hurt. And thus, turning the women against each other. We'll wait and see what happens. But no, this was a great main event. Great match. Anthony, let's move on.
All right, now we're going to get into our overall thoughts on Monday Night Raw tonight, and I'll start it off. Overall, it was a really good show. The Samoa Joe sit-down interview with Michael Cole and the attack on Sami Zayn, the Owens and Jericho angle, and the Bayley championship win at the end of the night made this a fun and memorable night. Raw has definitely taken a turn for the better so far this year. And my overall rating for this, it's a 7 out of 10. Despite a really rough first hour, I felt that they turned things around in the final 2/3 of the show. Overall, the good more than outweighed the bad. So what do I recommend? I obviously recommend the main event, obviously. I also recommend Sami Zayn against Rusev. I also recommend the Jericho and Owens angle. And I'll also throw in the sit-down interview with Samoa Joe and Michael Cole. Other than that, I think everything else on this show is more than skippable. So that's really all I can say on that. So it's a 7 out of 10 for me. So MF, your overall thoughts on this, on yet another historic and newsworthy edition of Raw tonight?
Yeah, no doubt about it. No arguments here. 7 out of 10 is the right rating. I mean, it was a good show. It was solid. All the highlights that you basically went down or recommend to watch were definitely great. And I think it was definitely a good night overall. So no, 7 out of 10. Edie, it's yours.
Yeah, I agree. 7 out of 10. Don't have much more to say about it. So see you guys tomorrow night. Good night.
All right, good night, Dee Dee. We'll see you tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk. And one other thing before we wrap up the Raw portion of this, and that is next week on Monday Night Raw. Monday Night Raw will be live from the Staples Center in Los Angeles, California. And one match announced for that show next week. Braun Strowman is going to go one-on-one with The Big Show. Okay. That's all I can say on that. So I'm not holding my breath over that one. So with that being said, let's move on now to my Tony's Take, and we're going to start it off with my review of 205 Live. Positive reviews are coming, so here we go. They announced at the start of the show that the premier athlete, Tony Nese, was injured and not medically cleared. Therefore, he is out of the 5-way main event. So we had a match to determine the new 5th competitor. It was Arya Daivari versus Mustafa Ali. Winner of the match in 5 minutes and 50 seconds. And qualifying for that 5-way main event, Mustafa Ali with that imploding 450. Second best fight of the show here, 2.5 stars. I really like that they held a play-in match to fill the spot for the main event. Pretty average match. Nothing really bad about it other than Daivari's bland and lifeless heat segment. Then we move on to our second fight, Lince Dorado versus the Brian Kendrick. The Brian Kendrick wins the match in 4 minutes and 57 seconds. About 2 to 2.5 stars on this. Dorado showed some good fire here and got in more than I thought he would. Solid but choppy match. It's not that they weren't on the same page, but it wasn't exactly smooth. And then we move on to the main event. 5-way elimination match. TJ Perkins, Noam Dar, Gentleman Jack Gallagher, Cedric Alexander, Mustafa Ali. Winner of the match in 13 minutes and 55 seconds and qualifying for the main event, or I should say, and becoming the #1 contender for the Cruiserweight Championship, the Gentleman Jack Gallagher. Jack Gallagher wins the fight. I believe it was, let me see if I can get the eliminations correct here. Noam Dar eliminated by Cedric Alexander at 5:20. Cedric Alexander eliminated by TJ Perkins at 7:55 with the detonation kick. And then Mustafa Ali also eliminated by TJ Perkins at the 9:45 mark with the knee, with the arm bar. And then it set up Gallagher eliminating Perkins with the shotgun drop kick in the corner and a headbutt, got the win. This was the best match of the series so far. Solid 4 stars. Great main event. Worked at a good pace, allowing everyone some time to shine and telling a layered story. From the callbacks with Dar and Alexander to the early work on the leg of Gallagher coming into play late in the bout, and then Perkins' overconfidence costing him in the end. He's shown a slight change in recent appearances, and I can see an eventual heel turn out of frustration coming. I love the pacing and sense of urgency in this bout, and I hope we get more of this moving forward. So with all that being said, my overall thought on this show, 7.5 to 8 out of 10. Best show of the series so far. The early part of the show was rock solid, but the main event was great and worth a look if you missed it. So MF, if you haven't seen it yet, or if any of you haven't seen it, whether you have the WWE Network or not, go out of your way and watch that 5-way main event because it will be worth your time. Believe that. So, all right, and 205 Live, hey, they've been turning the corner as of late, so hopefully they can keep up the good work. And tomorrow night on that show, we're gonna have a one-on-one match between Adrian Neville and T.J. Perkins. That could be some kind of hella fun right there. So, very much looking forward to seeing how that bout plays out tomorrow night. All right, now we move on to Impact Wrestling. The show, of course, on which was a taped show from the Impact Zone in Orlando, as always. Let's just say my rating for this will not be as positive as the other one, because this was not a good show. It started off with an in-ring segment with the DCC. I thought it was a solid follow-up to last week's show in regard to Drake and Tyrus looking for revenge, but the brawl was completely flat and had absolutely no heat to it. Then we had the match, a 3-on-2 handicap match, all three members of the DCC against Tyrus and Eli Drake. DCC win the match in 6 minutes and 35 seconds. Yeah, this was not good. 1.5 stars. Lifeless match, similar to the brawl to open the show. There is simply no heat on DCC. Nobody buys them as a threat, and no one bought Drake and Tyrus as the baby faces. Between last week and then the pre-match this week, it felt as if they were setting up the Drake and Tyrus split, but that it simply came too soon. I also get the feeling that despite his overall positioning, that TNA has no clue what to do with Eli Drake. I love his work, but make a decision if you're going to push him and make the call before it's too late and nobody cares. Also, they desperately need to change the presentation of the DCC, and they really need to let them run wild a bit and build some heat on them. So that's all I can say on that. Then we had an in-ring segment with Brandy Rhodes, interrupted by the Decay. Oh, Lord, this was not good. That was not a good segment. Now, don't get me wrong. It's nothing personal against Brandy Rhodes. I love her. She's a gorgeous, gorgeous woman. But she did something I thought impossible, and she made me not care about Rosemary and Decay. When she talks, she's not good. It makes me tune out and lose any and all interest. I have no desire to see a match between Rosemary and Brandy. Rosemary is really good, but Brandy is not. I also have no real interest in a mixed tag coming out of this because, Moose made the save after that. So they signed Brandy and feel like they need to use her, and I understand that. But signing someone with next to no in-ring experience and poor promo ability was such a bad call when there is so much female talent out there to choose from. I also have no idea why they moved away from everything involving the Jade feud. It makes no sense because the Knockouts were getting some momentum. Robbie E against Aaron Rex was next. Aaron Rex wins the match. 5 minutes and 5 seconds. 2-star match. The Rex gimmick really is not doing anything for me. He comes off as a stale as moldy bread act with a fresh coat of paint. There is nothing about the act that interests me or makes me care about him. He's a dude doing a wacky gimmick at this point. That's all I'm getting from this. Robbie E has been the standout to me in this mini feud, and which I am sure is the opposite of what they want. Okay, now we get better here. We get the Broken Hardys. Yes. We get the Broken Hardys. 7 Deities, Vanguard 1, Meek Mahan, Premonition. One of the few bright spots of this show. To that point, it was easily the best segment on the show. I needed some fun. I do worry about TNA not being able to sign the Hardys to a new deal, as well as Drew Galloway. They have been constantly entertaining parts of the show for me. So another great promo segment, without a doubt. Impact Grand Championship on the line. Drew Galloway defending against Mahabali Shera. Drew Galloway, the winner of the match, at 2 minutes and 23 seconds of the second round. And still Impact Grand Champion Drew Galloway. 2-star fight. It wasn't bad. It was just mostly Galloway dominating and picking up another win, which was what it was supposed to be. That's all I can say on that. We had the Helms Dynasty in there for an in-ring segment. Trevor Lee turning on Andrew Everett. Good angle, as the Helms Dynasty as a unit did what they could, and it was time for a break. If allowed, those two will absolutely tear it up. Of course, Trevor Lee, the new X Division champion, so a Lee and Everett feud could be just what that division really needs. And then it was announced that next week we were going to see the Broken Hardys challenge Psychosis and Super Crazy, the former Mexicools, for these Mexican Tag Team Championships at the Auditorio Municipal in Tijuana, Mexico. And that's going to go down next week. Main event of the evening, TNA World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Champion Bobby Lashley defending against challenger and former champion Eddie Edwards. Winner of the match in 12 minutes and 52 seconds. And still the TNA World Heavyweight Champion Bobby Lashley. And Lashley didn't do it on his own. He had some help. Davey Richards turns on Eddie Edwards, heel turn. And then, if that wasn't enough, Davey Richards' wife, former TNA Knockouts champion Angelina Love, knocked out Eddie Edwards' wife. Eddie Edwards' gorgeous wife. If I'm going to be real honest with you, because she is a stunner. Let me tell you. Easily the fight of the night here, far and away. 3 stars is all I can give it. It was a good match as expected, but on the lower side of their series in terms of quality. The Richards turn had been teased since Richards returned from injury and came across very well between making it more personal with the wives, made it even worse since this was Edwards' last shot at the title. And the feud has a lot of potential. So I'll give it that. Overall thoughts on this? Yeah, 6 out of 10. That's all I can give it. Not exactly a good effort. And the first half or so of the show did very little for my interest level. They did set up some good stuff going forward. Lee versus Everett and Edwards versus Richards. Also, Lashley is still awesome, and the Broken Hardy stuff should provide something fun and give the show a different vibe with their quest for all the tag titles in time and space. It was solid, but far from their best effort, average at best. They have some good things to follow up on. Unfortunately, acts like the DCC, Brandy Rhodes, and Aaron Rex are not doing a thing to entertain me. They also need to decide what they want to do with Eli Drake and do it. Because of this start and stop booking does them no favors. So, yeah, 6 out of 10. That's my thought on that. So with all that being said, of course, let's not forget we got another Impact Wrestling show coming up on Thursday night, and of course, like I said, the big highlight for this show coming up. It's no question about it. I mean, what else is there to say except that Mexican Tag Team Championship match with Psychosis and Super Crazy against the Broken Hardys, which is we're gonna see that from the Auditorio Municipal in Tijuana, Mexico. So let's take a look at what we have coming up. Jesse Goddard is going to go one-on-one with Eddie Kingston of the DCC. We talked about the Hardys and all that. Tyrus will host a Fact of Life segment with Eli Drake. Trevor Lee against DJ Z, return match for the X Division title. Cody's going to be in the house. Cody and Brandy Rhodes. And then Jesse Goddard is going to go up against Bram. Jade and Rosemary, I guess, are going to go at it for the women's title. Tyrus and Eli Drake will go one-on-one. And then a segment with Ali and Maria. Moose comes out. And then Trevor Lee and Andrew Everett. So just keep an eye out for what happens on the show tomorrow, Thursday night. So that's really all I can say about that. So that'll do it for this edition of Ridiculously Raw. We want to thank you so very much for tuning in. Another historic, newsworthy Monday Night Raw as they continue to turn the corner heading into WrestleMania and Fastlane. So we're going to wrap it up with our shout-outs. MF, let's get it to you, and then we'll put the bow on this.
All right. First off, thank you to all the great fans out there that makes Ridiculously Raw as amazing as it is. You guys are the best fans in the world. Of course, to my friend in the junior high and high school days, love you guys, super fans. You guys already know who you guys are. 2184 crew, you guys are amazing. There's really nothing more to say, guys. Tonight is Cerebral Smack Talk. I got Ring of Honor. I got SmackDown Live. And we'll see you guys at 10 o'clock Eastern. So until then, I'm Mike Fletcher. You know the routine, everybody. Holiday hand pounds. I'm out. Have a good night. Anthony, it's yours.
Yes, of course. Special shout out to all of our tremendous fans and viewers out there who continue to make our shows as over as they are. We appreciate it as always. You are the best fans in the world. Special shout out to Dee Dee Woodson and her family as always. Our other super fans and insiders, Matt Ward, Jason Hicksonbaugh, Daniel Luttrell from the UK. Our other first ladies, Kaiser Butler, Megan Silva, and Lexi Calloway. Our other crew members, Tommy Souza, Eric Carrier, Jimmy Alden, Al Braderson, and Rob Parsons. And of course, the man himself, the hardcore pipe bomb, Derek Ferreira. Phenom Michael Bullock, I don't know what happened to him. We obviously lost him towards the end. So hopefully we'll get him back on later in the week. And I'll save the rest of my shout outs for Friday night. And of course, tomorrow night, like MF mentioned, what time, MF? What time are we doing that show tomorrow? 10, 10:30? MF, I just want to get a quick check about what time we're doing the show tomorrow. Is it 10 or is it 10:30 for Smack Talk tomorrow night? Okay. All right. Hopefully we can. Hopefully MF will get back to us in a moment. But nonetheless, tomorrow night on the Cerebral Smack Talk, we'll review SmackDown Live. And what a main event tomorrow night on SmackDown Live. Oh boy, no rest for the weary. Bray Wyatt immediately forced to defend the WWE Championship against former champion John Cena. Yes, you heard me right. Bray Wyatt, John Cena for the WWE Championship tomorrow night on SmackDown Live from the Pond in Anaheim. Oh boy, we're gonna have some fun with that. And then MF will have his Mikey's mindset with the stuff that he has, and that'll go down at 10 or 10:30 tomorrow night on the network, on it, or I should say on his channel, Brace Fan 95. I have the docket for Strictly Sports on Friday night, and without further ado, here it is. Not as loaded as last week's show, but we have the docket nonetheless. Should Villanova be the early top seed by the NCAA Selection Committee? They did that big special on this past Saturday, that little inside look at the bracket, and Villanova was the projected overall #1 seed. So we're going to talk about should they be. Unfortunately, we have some sad news to report. Fab Melo out of Syracuse, he passed away. We'll pay our respects to him on that. We'll also preview NBA All-Star Weekend, which of course All-Star Saturday night and the All-Star game itself. We'll also have the recap of UFC 208, and then we'll close it out with our NBA Power Rankings. So that's our show for tomorrow night. All right, MF has gotten back to me. 10 o'clock tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. Tomorrow night on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, and then 10:30 Friday night, right back here on the Tone 25 for Strictly Sports. And that's it. So that'll do it. So until tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk, it's the ridiculously over gentleman, Anthony Florio, here for good old MF Michael Fletcher. And in spirit, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel Dee Dee Woodson, and the Hardcore Pipe, I'm Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah, throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. Have a blessed Valentine's Day, because today is Valentine's Day after all. And until tomorrow night for Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Brace Fan 95, you were watching Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, like I always say, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. Good night, everybody.